Your opinion on virtual learning, and would you support the creation of a virtual learning academy for the district?
So my opinion on virtual learning is that, wow, we had to figure it out fast. I don't think the technology or the pedagogy was really prepared for how to do that on the fly. So I do think that, generally speaking, a return to traditional classroom learning is, at least in the immediate future, what's best for our students. However, I think the lessons learned from this pandemic about what we can do virtually enables lots of opportunities for some unique learning experiences that we maybe didn't think about before, or maybe we considered it, but we didn't really take much action on it because we were doing our thing, and we were doing it well, but now we've had to do something really different. I can see opportunities like, for example, high school students that have to work to support their family. I think there's a tremendous opportunity to enable those students to have the time to both maybe be on campus for part of the day, but to work and be virtual, to complete the assignments, to complete the work that they need to get that very important high school diploma, but still we're supporting them and where they're really at with their family and the things that they need. I don't want students missing school. We don't want people dropping out. We need to find ways for that to happen. We also occasionally have what I think are some amazing classes that don't always make because we may not have enough students for those on one campus. Well, why can't we combine those? Why can't we find out a way to say, okay, let's host this at Lehman this year, but students that are interested in this particular class from Johnson and Hayes can attend virtually, or maybe it rotates around. Again, I think we've reached a point with knowing enough about virtual learning that we can be successful with it. And I actually do support creating a virtual learning academy. I think that's something that we can do. I think there needs to be structure around it. I think it needs to be something along the lines of, if a student enters it but falls behind, they're required to come back to campus so that we can get them caught up. Because it's an easy place maybe to go and hide. Maybe it's somewhere where a student feels like, okay, if I'm over here, nobody's really paying attention, but we need to pay more attention. So yes, I would be all for hearing how we can do a virtual learning academy and supporting it, and I know there are ways we can put virtual learning to use for the betterment of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I would support a virtual learning academy for our district. I think many students have done really well in the virtual learning environment. Many would like to continue that way. But like Mr. McManus said, I do think that there needs to be some structure. That needs to be only offered for kids that are doing well and aren't falling behind and struggling. So I think that it works for some, but not all. We did what we could, right, with virtual learning. I think that we navigated better than most districts did. And I think our teachers did exceptionally well. I mean, I was watching, I had kids at home that were doing virtual. I was working full-time too, and you would see the computer up and they were teaching, and then there were some of them were going back to the in-person students. I mean, they were making it all happen and they did really well. But I would like us to get to something that's more structured and not put so much onto our teachers. But yes, I absolutely would support a virtual learning academy, 100%. I think I turned myself off.
Okay. Yes, so being that I was a teacher this year in the virtual and face-to-face world, I am in agreement with the virtual learning academy. I think it would be great because a lot of students did thrive in the virtual world. A lot did not. My son being one, he needed to be in the school in front of his teachers. However, I do think that we could have an academy specifically for that, and I think we need to hire teachers or have teachers specifically for that, because I know teachers that have done really well with it. They've kept up with the technology, they've learned Schoology, they've been great, they've been ambassadors for Schoology and all of that. So I think that a virtual learning academy would be a great idea going forward, so that we don't lose the people that truly don't want to come back to school. They're terrified of coming back to campus. So I think we do need to have an option for those people. And like I said, a lot of people were super successful virtually, so it'd be a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me start with a question. Do we still have our daycare center here? Okay, because I was, when they first formed, and I want to say early 90s here, it was so important. We have a specific campus for, place them there, and then we have that impact center for discipline. We still have impact center here, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we have Live Oak Academy. Now, if you want students to graduate from high school, you've got to have a Live Oak Academy, period. If not, it's not going to happen. And it's not just for the pregnant girls, it is for students that have to work to help support their family. On the other hand, you don't send your kindergartner to school to learn their shapes and colors. And there's that old poem, Everything I Need to Learn, I learned in kindergarten, you know, play fair, sing and dance and play some every day. I saw my grandson that was in first grade when it first started, and I was helping out my son and daughter-in-law with the online, and he kept telling me, he said, "Grandpa, I can't read. Well, he's in first grade, you know, and so it was rough for him. So yes, I would like to have a virtual learning, but I think it needs to be we need to be careful about it because it's real easy for every grade level of student to hide. I used to have students come in and they would hide behind whatever they hid behind, their hair or some sort of a coat or put their backpack on, and we as teachers need to draw them out. We need to make sure that they were participating, so we need them to participate. Now we have homebound services, I'm sure, now for various reasons, for health and for maybe pregnancy and whatnot. So virtual learning can be done and can be done well. I don't want it to be a scapegoat problem to make it easier for kids. But there was nothing worse than to ask teachers to do both. Oh, you have some of the students online, you have some of the students in class, everything's fine. That was a nightmare for a lot of students to try to negotiate that. So it's not just the elementary students that need that interaction with other peers, it's high school and junior high kids too, because we've got to get these kids ready, students ready for whatever is going on for their next stage in life. So in the short answer, yes.
Number 10.